Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a super wildcard weekend episode of The Lock Shop, brought to you by Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Use the bonus code LOCKSHOP. Boom. 100% deposit bonus on an initial deposit up to $200. The playoffs, 'tis be upon us. Huss, how you doing, man?
Oh, dude, I am in such a great mood. Great to talk to you. Shout out to everyone that's joining us on the podcast, as well as people watching live. Yeah, the vibes are good right now. Coming off, I have left the regular season and my hideous Colts-esque finish to week 17 and 18 in the rearview mirror. We ran the table with the hockey picks on Tuesday.
Yes.
I've got a lot of good momentum coming in here. Jets won last night. First of all, we just actually have a hockey game to talk about on Winnipeg Sports Talk tonight. So that's a nice change from what we've been dealing with. And yeah, no games for the local hockey side this week, but that is fine, because we, as you mentioned, have these super wild card weekends, 6 games, 3 days. And once we get to Tuesday, Jets will be back for a big road trip. So I am ready to go. I got the Friday feeling, and I can't wait to chop up these games with you and, of course, get Chris in a little later on.
Yeah, Chris Abbott will join us a little bit later on before he escapes to Vegas yet again. He's heading down there in a few weeks, so we'll discuss that. He's going to play along in a little bit of a game that we got going on here today as well. And we are still going to give you a boosted partner parlay. It's paying 4-1 this week, so you're going to want to get in on that as well. But what we're going to do today for our NFL picks is not only we're going to pick all 6 games, but we're going to basically put a level of confidence in them, giving each game a set of points, 1 through 6. So the game that you're least confident in, you give a 1. The game you're most confident in, you give a 6. This way, I mean, it adds a little more intrigue to our head-to-head battle here with you, myself, and Chris. We might like 4 or 5 of the same games, but we might be different levels of confidence in them as well. So it changes the overall scheme. I think this is a nice little twist here for the Lock Shop in the postseason.
Absolutely. We're only getting, this is sort of that time where you get, the Sunday scaries where, you've got the work week coming up and it's going to be crazy. I sort of do get this right around playoff time, knowing that the most depressing day of the year, the Monday after Super Bowl, is just around the corner. But hey, we're going to be picking all these games anyways. A nice little fun head-to-head competition. Bottom line is we want to get these games right and cash some tickets, but it'll be fun to go back and forth as opposed to just picking all the games straight up. So let's get to it.
Let's do it. Let's dive right into it. Huss, so you'll give us your 1-point game, and then I'll do 1-point game, 2-point game. They'll go back to you for 2-point game, 3-point game, and we'll each get to pick all 6 games. This is gonna be good. So, which game are you least confident in this week?
I love the fact that we're somehow managing to work a snake draft type event into a simple picking of the games this week. But hey, that's what we're all about here. All right. Well, there was a few games that I was kicking around for the bottom, a few games that I really like. I mean, I think at the end on either end of the spectrum, it was difficult to differentiate from a few of the games. But I'm going to go to the Monday nighter right off the bat, and I'm going to take the Cardinals at +4. What a brutal way to end the season for the Rams. We talked last week about how Kyle Shanahan has absolutely owned Sean McVay, and it didn't look like that through the first half. The Rams, and McVay was 45-0 when leading at halftime. And much like the Brock Lesnar was the 1 in 22-1 of the Undertaker's record at WrestleMania, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners are now the 1 in 45-1. And we'll talk about the Niners a little bit later on. But I really don't know what to make of the Rams at this point. I mean, at some point they look like world beaters, and at other times this season, as we've talked about on this show, they have looked like complete frauds. And I got to say, that was no way to inspire confidence in a club going into the playoffs. Now, they're playing the Cardinals, who have stunk over the course of the past couple months. I mean, they had that great start. I think they were 10-2, number 1 seed. And, they really sort of moonwalked into the playoffs with some underwhelming performances towards the end of the year. That being said, it looks like they're getting J.J. Watt back. They've had the luxury of resting Kyler Murray and letting him get healthy. So I do think Cliff Kingsbury's team will be ready to go. And let's not forget, they went into L.A. and beat them by, at least 2 scores earlier on this
17
season.
points.
So, yeah, was it 37-20, I think the game was. So This is a fascinating matchup. I'm so pumped. We've got a Monday nighter. But this was probably the game I had the least confidence in. So I'm going to put it at the number one game, and I'm going to take the points with the Cardinals +4 for the Monday nighter.
All right, Arizona +4 is where Huss is headed. He'll get 1 point if he's correct on that game. You know where I'm going to go? I'm going to go to that game as well, but I'm going on the other side of it. I'm going to take the Rams minus the 4 points because you kind of laid out my case on the Rams. Been up and down all year. I mean, it's been hit and miss all year. They brought in Matthew Stafford for one reason, and that was to have success in the postseason. I have always been a believer in Matthew Stafford, so I don't think this is the game against the Cardinals where I'm going to, change my mindset on that one. With that being said, not a ton of confidence knowing what they could have done last week and let it slip away. So, that's why this is why we have a 1 point game. Like, this is what this game is for. So, I just like the Cardinals are weird because started great, struggled, but we're good on the road the entire time. 8-1 on the road this season, and now here they are on the road. Does that mean they're going to go on a little bit of a run? Who knows? Getting Watt back would be huge. And Kyler Murray, you are right. Like, they've been able to rest him a little bit. I just don't think he's physically capable of being who Kyler Murray needs to be for this team to be successful. So I'm going to side with McVay one more time. I'm going to go with my boy Matthew Stafford, and my 1 point game, I will go with the Los Angeles Rams minus 4 points at home against Arizona. And you know what? And this is an interesting topic on top of all of this is what happens if the Rams do lose this game? Like, you went out and gave up multiple first-round picks. McVay's supposed to be a genius. You brought in Stafford. If you lose this game at home, and I guess Arizona could cover and the Rams could still win, but if you lose this game, Huss, that's going to start leading to some pretty significant question marks, I think, in LA.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, think about the moves that they've made. I mean, they brought in Odell Beckham Jr. They went and got Von Miller. I mean, they sort of have like a 2014-15 All-Star team right now. And man, like, I don't know when the next time they have a pick in the first round, but I think it's around like 2030. Like, and that's how many picks that they've traded in the Stafford deal, Jalen Ramsey. So you're right. I mean, there's an incredible amount, I think, of pressure on the Rams to get this done, and not just win this game, but, get to the NFC Championship game. I mean, there's Super Bowl expectations, and let's not forget the Bucks won it at home last year. The Rams are hoping to be the second team to do that, as long as they can still hold the game at SoFi Stadium. I know they've been looking at some other venues, depending on what happens in California, but listen, tons of pressure on the Rams, and I think that even got ratcheted up more with the way they finished the season with that collapse against the 49ers last week. Where are you going for number 2?
I'm going to go to Buffalo. I'm going to go Buffalo minus 4.5 at home against the New England Patriots. We know what New England did earlier in the season, and, I mean, obviously there were some weather implications there, and I'm not 100% sure. I know people talk about playoff weather, and obviously in January in Buffalo, that's what you're going to get. But I thought that win over the Bills, or the win for the Bills over the Pats late in the season here was pretty big for Josh Allen. And Josh Allen's in an interesting spot because he's not going anywhere. He's their guy. We get it. But if he loses at home to New England in this game, there's going to start to be some doubters, whether it's supposed to be that way or not. There's some pressure on Josh Allen to win this game. I know it's scary with Buffalo going up against Bill Belichick in a playoff game. That's why I've got it at number 2 on my list, Huss. But I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills at home, minus 4.5. If I bet the game individually or throw it into a parlay, I might adjust that total a little bit to get it down to the 2.5 range. But I'll give it 2 points. I'm going to go Bills at home, minus 4.5.
Excellent. Well, I'll get to that game in a moment. My 2-point game is going to be Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bucs are now a 9-point favorite. That's come down a little bit. I saw it was 9.5 last night, so I don't mind getting that extra half point. Bottom line is the reason why I like the Bucs to win this game, and we'll get into the partner parlay, because I am confident that they win by a score. The reason why this is my number 2 game is much like we saw that ridiculous backdoor cover by the Eagles against the Bucs earlier this year. If you recall that, those 2 late touchdowns to come back and cover the 6.5, they ended up losing by 6. Just thinking about that still churns my stomach. That was one of the worst beats of the year. But But I do listen. I think Tampa's the better team. I think they're home. Brady, Arians, they'll be ready. They are, of course, well documented. They're missing a number of their top receivers. In that Antonio Brown is now hanging out in the green room with Kanye West and Madonna and whatever the hell that was going on yesterday. And of course, Chris Godwin's out for the season and probably into next year. So tons of pressure on Mike Evans, and they're going to really need Gronk to step up and be playoff Gronk. And, I think they've been saving him for this exact reason. So I am pretty confident that the Bucks are definitely going to win. I prefer it in and around 7 points, but I don't mind laying the 9. That's my 2-point game. Tampa over Philly, laying the 9 points at home. So I guess
I thought you might have Tampa a little bit higher. I know you like the Bucks. You got them in the parlay adjusted. So I was a little surprised you brought them out at 2. So I'm very intrigued to see where you're going with your third one here.
Well, number 3, I'm going head-to-head with you in that Buffalo-New England game, and I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots plus 4.5. And listen, I think Buffalo wins this game, but laying this amount of points, once we get past the field goal, I think is really dangerous. And listen, you've got Bill Belichick, the greatest defensive mind, going up against a team that they've already played twice. I think there's a real advantage for Belichick going into this game with how much they've seen from the Bills so far this year. And listen, I don't think they need a Mahomes-like performance by Mac Jones to stay in this football game. To me, it's going to be about the defense. It's going to be about the schemes. It's going to be about, and we'll see what the weather's like. It's going to be cold. We already heard Josh Allen, not a big fan of the cold. Circulation issues in the feet. Bart Scott told him to pound some Viagra before the game and get up yesterday. I'm not sure
get that blood flowing a little bit.
Quite entertaining. But when we're looking at a line now that's in excess of 4 at 4.5, I just have a hard time going against Bill Belichick in the playoffs. I'm hoping that the Bills Mafia pulls through it. I think that a Bills second round matchup against whether it's the Chiefs, I guess it would be the Chiefs if they do win, presuming that the Chiefs get it done as well, would be excellent. But to me, this has tight game written all over it. I'm going to take the underdog. I'll take 4.5 with the New England Patriots. And I'm kind of thinking that Buffalo squeaks this one out by 3, but it wouldn't even shock me if the Patriots got it done. And we're sitting here talking about how the hell Belichick did it again on Monday morning.
Yeah, he might. You're right. He might. That would be quite the scene. For my 3-point game, actually, we're getting all these first 3 games out of the way. I'm going to go back to Tampa, and I'm going to go to Philly, and I'm going to go with Tampa Bay -9. So I'd be on the same pick as you, but I'm going to put it, give it 3 points this week. It's still Tom Brady, and I know they're missing a couple of significant pieces, but the only thing that concerns me in this game is Philly's ability to run the ball, right? Like, they can run the ball. Can they somehow control this game on the ground enough to keep it within 9, keep it less than double digits? That's the only hesitancy that I've got here. And to be honest with you, and I know this sounds crazy because it's the other side of the ball, but I don't think Tom Brady allows that to happen. Like, I don't think Tom Brady gives Philadelphia enough opportunities to take over this game with their ability to run the ball, whether it be their quarterback or their running back. So I'm going to go with Tampa getting up to double digits. I'll take Tampa -9, and I will put 3 points on them in this game.
Yeah, and let's not forget, no one really runs against the Bucks, and I really do think that they come out with a good offensive game plan, score early, and if Philly's playing catch up, it's going to be on Jalen Hurts to both run the football himself. I don't think it's going to be Miles Sanders or Boston Scott that'll be getting big amounts of yards against the Bucks. If anything, it'll be Jalen Hurts, and the pressure is on him to keep this football team in the game. I'm not sure that they can do it. Where are you going for 4? It's funny. We've actually taken the same 3 games for the first 3. So more confidence. We'll see if there's any head-to-head matchups going over. Where are you going with number 4?
Well, it is interesting because we took the same 3 games, but we're head-to-head on 2 of them and different numbers on all 3 of them. So I'm going to have to get a calculator out to sort all these points when it's all said and done. I don't know. I'm interested to see where you have this game, but I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs -12.5 at my 4-point level. And I guess 2 reasons here. Kansas City's been pretty damn good as of late, but they're just that little bit for me with their offense. It just it looks really good, but I'm not sure if it's 100% looked as good as it could be, as great as it could be as of late. Like, I don't know if all aspects of it have been clicking at the same time. Do I think they win this game? Yes. Should they win it rather comfortably? Probably. But I just like the other two games that I'm going with more than this one. So I think Kansas City wins this football game, no doubt about it. I'd be stunned if the Steelers really even keep it within 6. But I'm going to go with Kansas City minus 12.5 in this situation. I'm going to put it at the 4 spot because Ben's not doing it, man. Like, Ben's not doing it. Kansas City minus 12.5. But yeah, I like the other two games more. So I'm going to lock in KC here at my 4-point pick.
Excellent. I'll get to that game in a moment. They're not my fourth. They're not my 4th spot. With the 4th spot, I am going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals minus 5.5 against the Raiders. Credit where credit is due. Everyone, regular listeners know I'm a big Chiefs guy, which means I hate the Raiders, always have, always will. But I have to give them a ton of credit. I mean, the adversity that team has gone through with what happened with Gruden, Henry Ruggs, they were essentially done a month ago. And Derek Carr has been an absolute warrior. I'm just so impressed. And obviously, I know we've already talked about the crazy Sunday game with the Chargers and the Raiders on Sunday night.
Oh, how's that?
But the fact that they were able to go and get that W, I mean, it really is one of the great stories of the NFL season. All that being said, I think the party's over for the Raiders this weekend. I think this Cincinnati crowd is going to be ready to go. And I got to tell you, I think Joe Burrow is a problem for a lot of teams. And maybe this is a bit of recency bias considering what he and Jamar Chase did to the Kansas City Chiefs the other day. But I'll tell you what, if you can do that to Kansas City's defense the way they were playing, what are you going to be able to do to the Raider defense? Listen, I think this is going to be a huge game for the Bengals, a massive moment for their franchise. And I'll tell you what, in the big game, I know we're laying 5.5 points right now. I don't think it's enough. I think Cincinnati gets this done by a touchdown, and I think it's going to be a real fun game for the folks in the Natty on Saturday afternoon when the Wildcard weekend gets going. So I'm laying the points with Joe Burrow and the Bengals for my 4-point game. And for my 5-point game, I'm going to the San Francisco 49ers in Dallas, taking on the Cowboys. The Niners are getting 3 points as a road underdog. And to me, this is the most fascinating game of the entire weekend. Obviously, I can't wait for the Sunday nighter for the Chiefs, the Steelers, but this to me is the game of the week. And, you know, if you look back in NFL history to teams, I mean, how many times have we seen a 5 seed or a 6 seed get hot and go on a bit of a run? You know, there's a common denominator on a lot of those things. I mean, certainly you have to have the defense. You've got to have quarterback play. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo, coming off that thumb injury, has balled out, especially in that game on Sunday. So impressed with what San Francisco did. But I'll tell you what, running the football is absolutely, it's imperative to being able to keep the football, move the chains, keep the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands. And I think they're going to be able to do that. They're going to need a big defensive performance. Dallas has a ton of weapons. But I'll be honest, I think I might be jumping on San Francisco on the money line on this game. I will tell you, I mean, we spoke a little bit about the futures odds right now that are still up right now until the games get going. And there was a nice little re-up bonus on CoolBet this morning. I think you can get 100% bonus up to 75 with a code I just saw pop up. So I went in there and made a nice little wager on the Niners to win the NFC at 10-1. So I'm jumping on the Niners at 3-point underdogs. I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game. I think this is going to come right down to the end. San Francisco will be in it, and I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and by the way, the other thing that makes me the most confident about this is I will bet with Kyle Shanahan against Mike McCarthy every day of the week, 24/7, 365. I think this should be a close game, but coaching cannot be underestimated at this point of the year. And it's a massive, massive advantage on the San Francisco side of things. So my 5-point game is Niners +3.
I'm going to get to that game in a second. I'm going to go to Cincinnati for my 5-point game. You already laid out a very good case for it. Cincinnati -5.5. 5.5. The party is over here for the Raiders. I mean, good on them with what they went through with Gruden to get to where they got to. And Derek Carr probably doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. He's a solid quarterback in this league. He's nothing spectacular, but he's a solid quarterback in this league. And he's got this team without a lot of offensive weapons. They didn't have Waller for most of the year. He turned Hunter Renfrow into a fantasy stud. Zay Jones is almost relevant again. Without Darren Waller, Foster Moreau looked like he could play a little bit. They lost Kenyon Drake, but Josh Jacobs kind of lived up to the hype that we expected to him come out of his rookie season. But Joe Burrow has too many weapons in this football game. I like it to be a high-scoring game, and if that's a situation, I like the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't even mind your idea of maybe modifying a bit and taking it up to a touchdown, because I do think they can win by that as well. So I am on the Cincinnati Bengals -5.5. That'll be my 5-point game, which does leave me the game that I am looking forward to the most this weekend. You laid it out. Game of the week, San Francisco and Dallas, and I'll be putting 6 points on San Francisco +3 for two different reasons for me. One, they've been playing extremely well. They've won 7 of their last 9. You mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo and a huge moment for the team, for him, and he came back just to get into the postseason. We've seen this guy dabble in success in the postseason in the past, and to be honest with you, and I like Dallas. I like watching Dallas play football. I do. But you mentioned McCarthy, concerns me. And let's be honest, they spent the season kicking the shit out of an awful division. That's just what it was. They crushed the Giants. They crushed Washington. They beat the Eagles. Another one of their wins came against Atlanta, like 41-3. So I don't know how much we can read into Dallas, considering they had 6 games against their own division this year. I mean, who wouldn't have gone 6-0 or 5-1 against the Giants? Not the Eagles. I mean, their playoff team, but against the Giants and Washington. So, I thought long and hard on these last 3, Kansas City, Cincy, and San Fran, because I really like all of these numbers, but I decided to go with San Francisco in my 3 game and my 6-point game, and allow Huss to crown his Chiefs when it's all said and done. I like it.
Hey, you know what? I mean, there was a bunch of games. I mean, I thought about the Niners in this spot. I thought about the Bengals in this spot. To me, and it's funny that we're sort of on the same side of the 3 games that we're most confident in and have our head-to-head matchups in the lesser ones. I think that sort of makes sense. This comes down to a couple things. The Chiefs have been a way better team in the second half. They could have easily won the first seed, although, and maybe this is part of the reason why I'm so high on Cincinnati. We saw what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase did a couple weeks ago, but they are ready to go. And this is, in some ways, if you're going to have to play, a nice way to get things going. I mean, they're obviously a big favorite, as they should be, against the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game, who, I mean, I got to give credit to Mike Tomlin right off the bat. I have no idea how this team is in the playoffs. I mean, I remember saying to you, and I think on Twitter about a month ago, how the hell does this team have 6 wins? I mean, they look terrible. And Ben Roethlisberger, credit to Ben for getting it done when they did. But, I mean, you're not beating the Kansas City Chiefs scoring 16 points a week. I mean, that's just not happening. You look at the team totals for this game. The Chiefs are at 29.5. The Steelers are at 16.5. And I mean, unless it's big garbage time and a blowout at the end of the game, I don't know how the Steelers get to 17. So I'll probably be looking at that one as well. In a lot of ways, I think this is going to remind many of Dan Marino's fateful last game in the National Football League, a wild card game in 2000, playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, his last game in the NFL, a 62-7 loss to the Jags. And I have a feeling Patrick Mahomes will be playing the role of the Undertaker and putting Big Ben and the Steelers 6 feet under. I'm expecting a big game from the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the defense absolutely needs to make a statement as well, considering what happened against Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. So give me the Chiefs laying 12.5. And I will say, if you like this game, I'd get it now. Would not be surprised if it's 13.5 or even 14 by the time we get to Sunday night.
So there you go. There's our picks in the order of that we're most confident in. I've got the Rams -4, Buffalo -4.5, Tampa Bay -9, KC -12.5, Cincy -5.5, and San Francisco plus the points. And Huss, you've got 3 dogs, 3 favorites. You managed to spread it around nicely, buddy.
Yeah, that's the way it went. We started off with the 1-pointer, the Cardinals +4 on Monday night against the Rams, laying the 9 with the Bucks at home in the 2-point game. We're going to go with 3 and the Patriots plus 4.5 in Buffalo against the Bills. And then laying the points with the Bengals in the 4-point game. 5-point game is going to be the Niners plus 3 in Dallas. And then finishing it up, the full stack on Mahomes and the Chiefs to end the Big Ben era in Pittsburgh in resounding fashion.
All right, let's get to the partner parlay. And then when Chris Abbott joins us, he's going to give us his picks 1 through 6 as well. I'm going to set Chris up to come in. So, Huss, you take over here with the partner parlay. Let's start with the Tampa Bay Bucks minus 6.5.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we talked about this game a little earlier. And, you know, I mean, I do like Tampa to win. I think they win. I don't want to say comfortably. I mean, I'm confident to lay the 9, but for the partner parlay, not wanting to screw it up. And again, maybe this is just burned by that Philly Tampa, those 2 late touchdowns, and turned what was a 21-point lead into a 6-point lead and ended up covering the number. We're going to buy a couple points, 2.5. In fact, I was pretty surprised. I mean, at minus 6.5, it's still laying at minus 147 right now. So I think some pretty good value to get those points and get it under a touchdown. So Tampa at minus 6.5 is going to be my contribution to today's partner parlay. Had some other options. I just thought for the value of a 6.5-point number with what we'd be able to get it and then get it boosted to, it made a lot of sense. So Tampa minus 6.5 is the adjusted number for my contribution to today's partner parlay.
I'm going to go to a game that Chris is also on, and we'll bring him in here quickly. I've had a decent amount of luck adjusting some of these totals in these games that I think are going to be high scoring by getting a few points on them. So I'm going to move Cincinnati and Vegas. It's 48.5 right now. I moved it down to 44.5, and it was minus 172. So let's go over 44.5, Cincy and Vegas. I think that's pretty reasonable. And, I like what Chris is bringing to the table as well. So let's bring in Chris Abbott. We're going to get his picks for the week, and starting with this partner parlay, which has been boosted from like plus 317 to plus 400, courtesy of Chris and the friends over at CoolBet. Abbott, what's up, buddy?
How you guys doing today?
Chris, ready for the weekend? 6 games. Let's go.
I'm good. I am my stream is delayed here when I'm getting back from you guys, so it just freaked me out for a second. But as long as our audio is good, then let's do this.
Audio is good, so we can continue along. Bengals minus 2.5. Let's start there. Complete the parlay for us.
Yeah, so Bengals minus 2.5. I mean, I like Bengals minus 5.5. Seeing we're doing a parlay, let's just get a little safer is what I thought. The money line at minus 227 was a little higher. We like to keep these under 200 if we can. So that's where I landed on the 2.5. I mean, this is probably. Yeah, it is my favorite bet of the weekend at the Bengals minus 5.5. Dusty, you laid it out pretty good a few minutes ago while I was in the green room waiting to come in, so I don't need to get into it too much. But the Bengals have covered 4 of their last 5 games. They've really put it together here in the home stretch. Like I think any concerns of Burrow and Chase kind of wiltering down the stretch of the NFL season and not rolling this into the playoffs are gone. I think Vegas as a home team is a lot more formidable versus as a road team. I think the crowd plays a major factor at Allegiant Stadium. So, I mean, there'll be a lot of nervous fans for the Bengals to see them actually win a playoff game and all that good stuff. But I think that they've just got more weapons, Dusty, like you said. Like Joe Burrow's got an awful lot to work with. His defense has come up big at times this year. I mean, I do want to take this opportunity to say that Max Crosby is an absolute beast. Like, this guy does not get the respect he deserves around the league. I don't think every time you watch the Raiders play, he's involved, but I don't think Max Crosby and a lucky Derek Carr are going to be good enough. We saw Waller was not a factor in the game last week at all. So I think when you start eliminating him, then you're looking pretty good as a Bengals team here.
Hey, Chris, before we get into your picks, just reconnect quickly. I think that might fix the delay. So just click back in. Everybody's talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, as Chris, and this is like, I think as they continue to get that offensive line figured out and Joe Burrow, just gets a little bit more experience, I think we could be talking about a pretty damn good team for a good 5 to 7 year window, which is why I'm really excited to see what they can do this year, just to kind of give us a taste.
Well, you know what? And this was such a big year for Zach Taylor, their head coach. I mean, I think that if this was a real disappointing season, maybe they go in a different direction. But, this is a young guy. They believed in him when they gave him the job. And, he, along with these picks, and let's face it, we all killed them for taking Chase and not taking the offensive lineman, Sewell, that ended up going to Cincinnati. And listen, Joe Burrow still does get, there's a lot of guys in his face, but man, he stands up in it. This is a guy, the bigger the game, the more confidence I have in Joe Burrow. I think he's going to ball out in this playoff game, and they are going to be a problem for anybody else they're facing in these AFC playoffs.
All right, Chris, let's start it at the bottom. Give us your 1-point game, and then we'll whip through 1 through 6. So which game do you like, but you're the least confident in this week?
Yeah, well, there's a few of those, to be completely honest with you. I'm interested in the Bucks-Eagles game the least, I think. It's a really big number for Tampa Bay. They've got, obviously, Tom Brady and all the weapons to get the job done. They're playing at home. They're the defending champs. It's playoff time. You can throw the regular season out the window. But, they've had some issues at running back. They've had some injury issues. They've had some discipline issues, both in terms of penalties and just overall temperament on the team. Mike Evans is made of porcelain. You can be sure that he hobbles to the sideline at least once in this football game. So,
you're right.
There's a lot of red flags with Tampa Bay, but I mean, what are the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They're a team that, to me, offensively makes the best of bad situations a lot. Like, a lot of their plays come from Hurts scrambling or run plays that are, hit or miss sometimes. You've got that big front seven for Tampa Bay. So I don't know. There's a whole lot I don't like about this game. It's a big line. I think I would take Tampa Bay, but I'd hold my nose doing it. So for that, it would be my least favorite bet.
Okay. All right. Tampa Bay -9. Where are you going number 2? 2 points on which game?
Give me 2 points on the Arizona Cardinals +4. I hate Sean McVay, so I like betting against him. I think that the likelihood that Matt Stafford has a bad game and makes crucial mistakes against, a formidable, what I would say, Arizona defense, who are, I know that the J.J. Watt's been listed as potential. I don't know if that's going to happen, but even without him, they've got some disruptors there. I think that this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be close. I think the Cardinals have shown the ability to hang around, and the Rams, while they have a lot of flashy big names, I'm not trusting their quarterback, who I was high on coming into the season. So I'll go 2 points on Cardinals +4.
I'm the lone wolf. I'm the lone wolf on Matthew Stafford this week. We'll see where he goes. It's funny. Chris has picked 2 of the games that we've got in the bottom 3 as well. I wonder if that third game happens as well here.
Let's find out. Where are you going for number 3, Chris?
For number 3, I mean, I think my next couple are probably interchangeable, but I will go against you guys, and I will say Pittsburgh Steelers +12.5.
Wow. All right.
I would wait because of what you guys were talking about. I do think this line is going to go closer to 13.5, 14 before kickoff. But with the penchant that we've seen of the Chiefs not covering big spreads, with the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is coming out this week saying, we're not supposed to be here. This doesn't matter. Like, we're gonna get blasted into oblivion. I just think that, and with everything we've seen from this Pittsburgh team this year, that games they have no business in, it would seem, they hang around. And I don't think they win this game, but I think they keep it within 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to wait until last minute, and then I will be betting the Steelers. And I'll probably, adjust the line to 14, no matter where it ends up. But I don't see Kansas City absolutely steamrolling them. I see a world where a couple of things happen in this game. It's close the whole game. That could happen. KC gets out and does their second quarter thing where they score 21 points. And then I think there's that much stubbornness on that Pittsburgh sideline that they would chip away and even maybe backdoor it. So that's where I kind of look. I can see the Chiefs getting up early and then taking the foot off the gas. I can see Pittsburgh keeping this close throughout the game. So I'm going to take the big underdog spread there.
Yeah, it's definitely a big number. There's no doubt about it. What about number 4?
So yeah, what do we got? We got Tampa, Arizona, Pittsburgh. This one's tough for me, and I probably had more confidence about it till I heard you guys talking about it and Dusty talking about their strength of schedule. I still think I got to take the Cowboys as a home favorite as a field goal, but I feel a whole lot less confident about it now. I'm banking on Jimmy Garoppolo not having a good game, basically, is what's happening here. I do think that Dallas is overrated. I think the point about them beating up on the division is very, very valid. And conversely, the 49ers played in a very tough division and found their way through it pretty well, actually. So, I mean, I also wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers win this game outright. But I think in Dallas, with all the weapons that the Cowboys have, if they put it together even like 60%, they should be fine. You know, if CeeDee Lamb has a decent day, if Dak Prescott has a decent day, if the two-headed running attack has a decent day, and if you know, Diggs doesn't make any stupid attempted interceptions that go for an 80-yard touchdown on the defensive side of the ball, then I'm okay with Dallas here. But they also have the ability to completely implode. I love the McCarthy point. I agree with it wholeheartedly. Yeah, I'm just going to take the number with the boys here. I think it's smaller than it would have been if we played this game a couple of weeks ago, right? I think there's a lot of momentum around
That's true.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're right.
I think we're probably getting a decent number on the Cowboys here.
There is.
All
So
right,
that leads, your final 2 games are the Saturday doubleheader: Bengals, Raiders, and Bills, Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I've already made a money line parlay bet myself on just these 2 games. This is a good content for the lock shop. So I had a 2-leg thing on Chelsea in the Carabao Cup or whatever it's called over there. And they cashed that this week and I totally forgot about it. So I logged into my account and I saw extra money. So then I in turn took all that money and put it on a Bills-Bengals parlay for Saturday. So that's what I'll be cheering for there. My 5-point game then would be Bills -4. It's gone to -4.5 today. I think, you know, the Patriots have been a great story this year. I just don't think they have the horses to compete in this game. There is some worry about the weather and, you know, will that keep the score down? And obviously we're looking at a total of 44. But, you know, I think if Josh Allen has shown us anything, it's that the elements don't really matter to him. He'll find a way to get it done. I think it's going to be a complete zoo in Orchard Park. Of course, all the pressure is on them, but I like this number. I think much like I was talking about before, I think if we play this game a little earlier in the season, we're getting, you know, the Bills as a touchdown favorite. I think the Patriots have gotten a lot of love, and they've kind of spiked like the Omicron wave, and now they're on the wave.
And 6-point game. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised by this. You like Cincy in the parlay. Cincinnati -5.5. Yeah.
Yeah, don't need to go and do it too much more.
Yeah.
But I think the Raiders are in for it. I think what happens in this game is I think Cincy builds up a lead, and then we might be sweating a backdoor cover here. But at 5.5, I like that number there.
Beautiful. Off to Vegas again. Hey, Chris Abbott, you lucky guy. You lucky duck.
I don't even know if it's lucky. Well, I got lucky based on the airfare. So I'm already booked to go at the end of February. I think I told you guys I'm going to see Metallica at Allegiant on the Friday night and the Avs and Golden Knights on the Saturday night. And that whole thing was spurred because a good friend of mine is friends with Alex Newhook's father from Colorado. So it's going to be, you know, a bunch of the guys from Newfoundland heading down to take it all in. So then, you know, I booked that trip, and then I was sitting here literally yesterday, and my same friend that I'm going with at the end of February says to me, he's like, you know, I'm toying with the idea of All-Star Weekend in Vegas, and I was like, man, we're going like 2 weeks later. But at the same time, I'm here in Toronto and I'm like, well, let's just look. And the hotels were comped, and I looked at the airfare, and it was $237 return from Pearson. And I was like, okay, booked.
Done
Like,
deal.
What's the worst thing that happens here is I go and kick it in Las Vegas for a couple of days and then fly back. Like, no harm done. No harm done. So,
Wow.
I go back 2 weeks after I return, which is, I'm going to be out about $500 in COVID tests, I guess, but so be it.
I've been waiting for some time in Vegas.
Yeah, I might see you down there, Chris. I'm things are working behind the scenes to potentially join you on that weekend.
I absolutely love that, Hustler. Yes, we have the remote setup. You can do Winnipeg Sports Talk from anywhere. I'm sure there's at least one Winnipeg Jet named to that game, isn't there?
Absolutely. Kyle Connor's already going, and as he should be. Big game last night, big win for the Jets. And of course, speaking of that, I'm going to be talking about that in about 7 minutes on Winnipeg Sports Talk. So may have to get out of here quickly.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay. We can wrap it up. That's all good. We got Chris's picks in. We got all our picks in. We'll see how this thing sorts itself out. I think this was a fun experiment. Let's see how it goes.
It was for sure. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that partner parlay. And if you guys can pull through on the first game of the weekend, we'll be waiting for that early game on Sunday for Tampa and the Bucks to hopefully win by 7 and cash a nice 4-1 parlay. So I'll be looking forward to getting on that as soon as it's up at coolbet.com.
So is this a contest? Like, am I in for something here with these points? We
haven't determined what we will win yet. We're not sure about that. We got a text about that still.
Okay.
A friendly wager between the three of us, I think, would be a smart thing to do. We'll get the text chain going on. We'll let people know what we decided on Tuesday's show. But consider the gauntlet throwdown. Let's have some fun and win some bets.
Absolutely.
All right,
Sounds good.
Chris. Okay. We'll see you later, buddy.
Cheers, boys.
There you go. That's Chris Abbott. Huss, Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up right away on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. Good luck this weekend. We'll be texting, and we'll have another episode on Tuesday, brother.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, folks, if you're watching us live right now, head on over to the YouTube channel. Give us a sub. We'll be talking a little bit about Djokovic being bounced again from Australia at the Aussie Open. Ken Weeb going to join us for an extended chat on the Jets win and a look ahead to next week. And the legend, former Seahawks and Chargers play-by-play man, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, coming by to give his thoughts on Wildcard weekend and all the coaches that got fired this week. So should be a great show. Dusty, have an awesome weekend. Yeah. Thanks to everyone enjoying the pod, and good luck with your bets. It's going to be a fun weekend for football fans.